Please introduce yourself, guests.
Your friendly neighborhood Spiderman. Pleasure to be at your service.
Hello, my name is French Catwoman, and je suis très content d'être avec vous aujourd'hui.
Hey, 안녕하세요. 저는 Rocky입니다. Nice to meet you.
As we mentioned before, we're discussing net neutrality. So let's go around and give a brief overview of net neutrality, what it is, what it means to you in your particular country. Spidey, would you like to lead us off?
Net neutrality means a lot to me because people like Jonah J. Jameson are trying to control the image of Spider-Man and describe him as a villain. But actually, Spider-Man is a person who's trying to defend the rights of the American public. And I think if we end net neutrality, superheroes like Spider-Man might get overtaken by villains like French Catwoman over here.
You said I'm a villain, but I'm not a villain. I'm from France, so I can only agree upon, freedom of expression. That's something really important for us. We are the country of human rights, okay? But we just maybe don't think as idealistically as the Americans, right? We're not afraid so much about private institutions. It's more about the government. Government is trying to control net and all the medias, and that's the main issue that we have in France and Europe. We have a similar organization as you guys have, which is called National Digital Council. So they tried to take over net neutrality, saying that they needed money, right? So exactly the same situation as in US, but the European Parliament didn't let them do. Even if they tried to to lobby the net neutrality issue, they didn't succeed. So in fact, they voted a law to protect net neutrality. But they also put some exception in that law, and those exceptions were not for private institutions, but for governments. In some special cases, the governments have the right to control the flow, like fast lane, slow lane, and also to censor some part of the internet. So in fact, that's why we aren't so much afraid of private institutions, because in our law, we already protected net neutrality from that side.
There's a lot of censorship, but we still got high-speed internet, and everything works out well. I don't know why y'all just so concerned about net neutrality. And plus, it's just an American thing. In Korea, it's not our problem. So as long as you don't go onto restricted sites, you're fine. And a lot of people here, they get along just fine with all the internet access they have.
So Rocky, what kind of restricted sites are you referring to?
Porn.
Okay.
Is that it? So basically you're saying that net neutrality is not something to care about, at least in Korea, because who cares if anything is censored as long as you have fast internet for the most popular sites? It's fine.
That's right. We have everything we need, as long as you stay off the restricted sites like poker, gambling, porn.
People from all over the world should really be paying attention to what's going on with the policy in America and should express their opinion. Even though they don't have any voting rights, the internet is a thing that affects the entire world.
See, that's just arrogant right there. You think just because this affects the U.S., it's going to affect the world. Yeah, the internet's all over the world, but that doesn't necessarily mean American internet culture just seeps all throughout internationally. What Spotty is trying to argue is that if America's internet is censored or slowed down, it has some kind of influence from the corporations, that it's going to affect the world from their policies. What I'm saying is your FCC and Korea's KCC is entirely different. We have different laws, different rules about net neutrality and about internet itself.
Right now we have millions of websites, millions of sources of information. If the internet gets treated like cable, we could be limited to only 100 different sources of information. And I don't agree. You can't treat countries as isolated entities anymore. So even Americans should be concerned with what's going on in Korea and what's going on in France. We're all interconnected.
So let me jump in there and toss it to Catwoman here, because she was talking at the beginning about Netflix entering Europe, and she had some concerns about government intervention. So, Catwoman, how do you see U.S. policies affecting what's happening in Europe?
Yeah, it's a whole global network. In fact, the thing is, Netherlands 2 years ago passed a law trying to protect net neutrality, but it was really limited because as it's a whole global network and it's implying actors from all over the world, acting at the scale of a country isn't really efficient. So in fact, that's why the European Parliament entered the game and voted a law for net neutrality, because at the scale of Europe, at least we can do something. But we are of course afraid of Netflix entering Europe because they have a lot of power, like political power, financial power, and everything. So we're just afraid that they're gonna lobby all the politics in Europe and do the same thing as it's done in America. So in fact, we should care about what happens elsewhere, and we should care about what happens in our country. I think Korean Rocky didn't get that, and if he's not concerned about freedom of expression in his own country, he's just gonna end up like Chinese people.
Hey, don't compare us to the Chinese, okay? We're different.
If you don't care, well, that's what will happen to you.
She's got a good point. Earlier on, you didn't seem to be too concerned about censorship. You just said, who cares about censorship? As long as you stay off the sites you're not supposed to go to and have fun and everything else, you should be fine, which, frankly, sounds very similar to you being behind the Great Chinese Firewall.
Hey, that's China, and this is Korea, okay? Listen, the Chinese, they're communism, okay? In Korea, we have democracy.
I think internet is really a public utility, and it's also because it's the first media, I think, from this century that might have the power and the potential of staying free of censorship and free of control by whether it is like public or private organization. And that's something that is really exciting, because I really want to see if the internet can remain entirely free, because it will be a huge step forward in the human rights for the world. Because actually, only 1/3 of the population, global population, is on the internet. There are still 2/3 of the population who don't even know what internet is, right? So, what are we gonna prepare for these people? Are they gonna know internet as we know it right now? Do we want to leave them only like what is left, so like a shitty, censored, slow lane internet, or do we want everybody in the world to have the same equal rights?
Again, this has been episode 1 of Culture Talk, an online program hosted by idigculture.com. Please visit the website to view more information, view recorded shows, comment, interact. Conversation's always happening at idigculture.com. Again, thanks for watching, and on behalf of Spiderman, Catwoman, Rocky, myself, and all our alter egos, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Ciao.
Bye.
Au revoir.